Okay guys, I'm back for another cast on the Sorcerer. Let me get in here. And multiplayer, local. So before I pick my character as usual, I'd just like to point out that I have two mules, a magic mule and a normal mule. I'll get to the point of why. First of all, this is my 66th run, and last time, I think the last video I uploaded, it was my 53rd run. So from back then I had 606 million experience, now I'm at 682.6 million. But it's around, if you do the math, it's around 6 million experience per run. Which have sort of brought me here, you could say. And about the mules that I showed you on the way in. So from doing these runs, naturally I'll get some drops. And I'll take the minor upgrade first. So the chest that I used to wear, it's actually almost the exact same as the one I'm wearing currently. The stats are fixed, so all the stats you can see here to your left, they are the same. The only stat that sort of differ on this unique item is the basic armor value. And if you look down below here, you'll see that the basic armor value of this chest piece is 42. And I found a new one. It was found on level 15, by the way. And it has slightly better basic armor. It's 48. It can be, I think the armor value can be from 40, either 40 or 41 to 50. So this is slightly better, 6 additional armor. At my current armor class, and I'm a complete class cannon as a level 46 sorcerer here, and I should be, or that's how I shouldn't be, but that's how I prefer the game. You could play the sorcerer a bit more tanky with armor class, but I prefer to do some kiting instead and not get hit at all, if possible, by the melee mobs. Anyway, like I said, it dropped on level 15, and I'm gonna save it on my magic mule that have all the my sort of magic-like stuff, you could say, that I could use for another character. I plan to eventually make a rogue that also could work as a caster, because rogue doesn't do very well, as I recall, on higher sort of difficulty modes with the bow, at least. Anyway, I'm gonna drop it here for now. So about the magic mule, the plan is, well, it has to do with basic stats, but the sorcerer here has a cap of 250 magic, and I believe that rogue has a cap of 250 dexterity. The warrior, surprisingly enough, 250, maybe even 255, but in that neighborhood, but 250 strength for the warrior, in that neighborhood, like I said. And in order to read books to sort of raise your spell levels and your damage, take Fireball here as an example. It's currently level 17. Mana cost is as low as it can be per Fireball casted, and the damage is fairly high, as you can see. In order to be able to read high level sort of books, you'll have to have more and more magic. And as the warrior, I think he has a cap of around 80 or 100, something like that. So it's very hard for him to be able to read the final books. Eventually the books will have a requirement of 255 magic. That's the cap for reading a book, no matter the level of it, eventually. So what you do is you have a character with a lot of magic stuff that can sort of boost your, say, if you're playing a warrior or a rogue, in order to be able to read more and more books. And that's why this chess piece, I found it. I don't actually, no, it's not true. I think I bought it actually by the blacksmith, but I found it afterwards, the exact same armor. But 20 to matching on a chess piece is tops. As you can see here, the one I'm currently equipped, which is considered the best in slot for sorcerer. Eventually, it has less sort of magic. It only has +5 magic. It has some other stats, including +20 mana, but it's especially the spells are increased 1 level that does that. This is considered the best in slot piece for a caster. But if you put all these sort of magic stuff with the maximum possible magic on that given item, and you equip that on, say, a character that can't read the higher level books, then eventually you will be able to read a lot higher level books And you can say, why do you need that as a warrior? The reason is partly due to healing will become more effective, but it's especially due to Stone Curse. When you've tried with the warrior to sort of hunt down the melee mobs on hell difficulty, and you just get more and more aggro from more and more mobs because they're kiting you down there when you are the melee, then if you're able to Stone Curse 3 mobs instead of 2, or 2 instead of 1, because you're able to read higher level books, trust me, it will mean the world of getting that level done successfully compared to a fiasco. So the chest piece, maximum plus 20 magic, bought from the blacksmith. And you know what? I actually found a Dream Flint more. It dropped from a mob on level 15, and it is also, besides being best in slot for caster, it's also best in slot for a character that wants to read high level books, meaning having as much magic as possible. So plus 30 magic is best in slot for raising your magic with the one-handed weapon. So plus 20 from the chest, plus 30 from the one-hander, and then we got Crown of Sorcery here. I think I found it. I'm not sure. Either I found it or I bought it by the blacksmith. It's both is possible. It's not that rare of an item, but 22 magic on a headpiece is maximum as well. And just to show you what I'm actually wearing, which is not best in slot, but it will do for now, has 18 to magic among some resists, just to compare. But all this is for my magic mule, like I said, eventually for some kind of book reading character to equip all this stuff eventually. And then I found this ring, which is also maximum magic to a ring. So you could say, why haven't you equipped it? This is 32 magic, is the same as 60 mana, because I actually have better rings. This will give me more mana, and this will give me even more mana, and that's what I'm mainly looking for with my rings. It could have been a nice starter ring, of course, not a starter ring, but a good, actually late game ring, but I actually have better, which will supply me this character with larger mana pool. But it will be perfect for my magic mule. These 4 items are kind of perfect for, like I said, a character that wants to boost its magic. Then I found this ring. It's interesting. I could imagine for, say, a warrior that needs a boost, lots of mana and lots of hit points in one single ring. So it's kind of a defensive ring, you could say, but it could be useful, at least for a period, I would say. And the final ring I found was a Ring of the Zodiac. I think what I have stashed on, not on my magic mule, but on my normal mule, was I think plus 16 all. So it's kind of a booster ring, a bit like the Drake's Ring of the Lion here. And that's about it. That was loot from, I think, 13 runs. So I'm just gonna go replenish my mana. And as usual, by the way, all the items was found, I think maybe one item on level 14, and then the rest of the items on level 15 or 16. Actually, the chest piece and, like I said, the Dream Flinch. So actually these exact items here. Besides that this one had better basic armor class. But these 2 items were found on level 15. Does it mean
sense a soul in search of answers.
Only be found on level 15? No, it doesn't. I think most mobs, not most mobs, but most mobs of a certain tier can drop those kind of items. And the first nice light plate that I found was actually found on normal difficulty. My very first run, also on level 15, by the way. Worth taking into notice. So, just wanted to sort of, keep my stuff a little more tightly packed. So, as usual, S for showing all my spells here. F5, Fireball, F6, Chain Lightning, F7, Stone Curse, and F8 for Teleport. So, offensive spell Fire, offensive spell Lightning, Stone Curse, mainly defensive. Sometimes you can sort of Stone Curse a mob that's just annoying, and then Teleport definitely, it's mainly defensive, but you can also use it to just scout around the map eventually when you're sort of checking out if it's fully cleared. One more spell, the most important of all, actually, have it at the ready. Mana Shield. Without Mana Shield, I'd pretty much die instantly. For people that haven't seen any of this and have no idea what Mana Shield is about, it will use your mana pool instead of your hit points when you're taking any damage. So and that's why mana pool is so important for Sorcerer, because it's a bit like a Warlock, you know, it's both your offensive and defensive capabilities. Anyway, as usual, I'm chilling a bit with the exploration here in the beginning because of these guys. The lava maws are probably one of Sorcerer's worst enemies, I'd say. In the sense that they have this nasty ability to pretty much hit you constantly because they hit you very fast. And my armor class is crap, so they are almost able to hit me every single time, which means they keep me in place, which means more mobs will pile up on you, which means you're in shit to speak frankly very fast if there's a lot of mobs, sort of, especially melee mobs doing damage to you. So, besides that, the map seems fairly easy if I can keep my distance to the lava maws, because the Doom Knights here are sort of lower than the knights. And the experience was, I think, 682.6, by the way, just to show you. Eventually, that I'll land around, I think, about 6 million experience from here. That's about 689 eventually. When we are down by Diablo. So, why I'm taking it pretty easy, I'm not teleporting around here in the beginning, because I don't want to much hardcore initially. I want to make some room to kite. Maneuver, if you like. And further, even though chain lightning spell is a very good spell, but you need to learn to sort of master it, and the spell is only really good because it's sort of having mobs coming at you from the same direction. They are 360 degrees around you. The spell can become very annoying to use. Say if there was a mob here, for instance, that I hadn't cleared, then some of the chain lightnings will try to travel through the wall, which it cannot, so it's sort of a wasted offense, you could say, and it sort of weakens your offense in the direction that you actually wanted the spell to go. So it's very important when you're using chain lightning to sort of clear the whole areas. Another thing is with these guys here, if they actually get to you, always try and walk south. If you're surrounded, you're screwed. And I really don't want to have to, because then I'm going to lose all the gear in town, and there's a lot of really good stuff. I actually lost one Dream Flinch already. I think, I found 3 so far. One of them I lost because I think I teleported, made something stupid into some mobs, and I was about to die, and as this is supposed to be some kind of hardcore, even though you cannot play hardcore, it's just hardcore to myself, but I have sort of given myself the chance to escape, new game, which will sort of make me leave instantly. So I actually have a chance to survive. Otherwise, as Sorcerer, if you're surrounded by melee mobs, there's no chance you can survive at this level. They'll just grind all your mana down. You're not going to get away from it. So it's very important to, when you're doing corners here, try to keep as much distance to the area that you cannot see around the corner. So if I want to... There's one more mob left. If you want to sort of pass this corner here over here, and you cannot see if it's full of mobs over here, then in order to play it as safe as possible, then sort of follow this place up here, or this wall there, which will give you more sort of more distance. The mobs coming from around the corner, which will give you a second or more to react if there's some kind of ambush just around the corner. And one of them got to me, but like I said, if you walk south, I can sort of try and show you here. I prefer to just do one more, but if I have this guy attacking at me, if I try to sort of, well, it actually managed to get away from him there, but normally if he's gotten to you, let's imagine 2 or 3 of them hitting at you at the same time. It's often very sort of hard to get away from there, but I've just figured out somehow that if you try to walk south, it'll usually get easier. So again, we got some hidden corners here, so a little test with the lightning sort of show you in which direction the mobs are actually. They look to be up north, they're all of them. So the lava moors, they are top tier of their kind. These are called sort of doggies, but I think they're considered generally pretty high tier, in contrast to these Doom Guards, whereas I think the lava moors can actually drop some pretty good loot, meaning good stats. And yeah, normally I'd probably teleport a little bit more around, but with the lava moors I'm not doing it. Especially, like I said, with all the loot I have in town, it will be pretty, yeah, stupid to put it blunt, because you just don't want to get caught by those guys up close. Exit found, that's nice. And right after I start teleporting, but I know when they're sort of stairs up or stairs down, which this symbolizes then there's never mobs right around it, and that's why I sort of gave myself a little room to teleport. But you don't want to stay like teleporting like that. Oh, we got a special here. He's immune to spells as far as I can see, so I'm just gonna stone curse him for now. Do his bodies here. And just gonna retry. Fireball doesn't bite, and nor does lightning, so gonna change to my key sort of speed, which is the best sort I've found so far. So Rust Weaver will get a beating. Yeah, and he actually takes quite a punch. I think he took like, I don't know, quarter of my mana in one shot. So as the stone curse wear out in a second, I'm just gonna leave him for now. And he dropped a nice morning cloud, something like that. Making a little more distance. And again, I try to avoid the corner here, so I'm staying along this wall. If there had been any mobs here, for instance. Do a little chest shooting, but as you can see, most of the lightnings, actually all of them, are traveling down south. And I think we're almost done here with the level 13. And if you haven't seen any of the videos, then I've played Diablo before, but the last sort of section of Diablo is Hell area here, and the highest difficulty is Hell as well. So this is Hell area, Hell difficulty, and there are 4 levels all the time, meaning level 13, 14, 15 and 16. I think I'm missing a slight area down here. So I try to do full clears, I guess it's just for my own OCD, but also to make the chain lightning spell more effective. So up here, as you can see, it's like the lines are broken. There are more. The lines are broken on the map. Yeah, that was pretty much it. So we got exit here, and I'm just making ready for instant casting my mana shield. Just a second, just need a drink. There we go. Alright, so nice and easy again. Not trying to get too much aggro here in the beginning. So we got Black Knights. They're also a lower tier of these kind of knights, whereas the highest tier are Doom Knights. The Snow Witches here are sort of, I'd say, mid-tier of those kind of mobs. And it was actually a Snow Witch that dropped the plus 30 magic ring that is pretty much perfect for my mule. So it's not like they cannot drop good stuff, but say stats like say dragons, for instance, they cannot drop stuff like that. I think that's simply not high enough tier to be able to drop it. I'm very lucky with the last map. I mean, sort of skill-wise, it's not that hard to be a sorcerer if you only need to cast one kind of spell. And that's pretty much where I am right now. Where at last level it was pure lightning, and this level it's pure fire, it looks like. And it's just fine by me. It's okay that it's easy mode now and then. Normally, and I'm sure I will on level 15 and 16, I'll have to sort of diversify my spell cast, because you cannot make it fire or lightning alone. So with all these sort of range here, I try to shoot and scoot, so I'm not taking too much damage. Got the ring, I keep that in the back of my head up there somewhere. Just trying to make it safe first here. And I think I'm just gonna, I was thinking about sort of clearing out this corner, but it seems to sort of go on, so I'm just gonna go get the ring while I sort of remember where it was. And I heard a ring drop, and I think it was up here somewhere. It was an amulet though, but still. Yeah, take it easy, honey. On a map like this, I'm not too spooked about using teleports more because the knights, they can pack a punch, but they don't hit very fast and they're kind of slow, sort of more like tanky like. So yeah, I prefer not to get hit by them. Of course, and was an amulet more. But if I should teleport sort of and get sort of caught by some of the melee guys, then if it's a pack of Black Knights, I should have a decent chance to get out of it. So unless I'm fully surrounded, because they hit so slow, like I said, compared to the sort of lava monsters, red doggies from the last level. Exit found, very nice. And we have another piece of jewelry here. Let's see, there we go. By the way, the ring, the sort of the stuff that drops from chests and barrels. I have this theory, which have worked out so far of all the hours that I played Diablo, that if you open a chest, say like this, and then drops an item, then it can have the stats from like the mobs that are on that given level. So had this been on say normal difficulty, then yeah, the stats would probably not have be exactly the same as here. So if say there's one sorcerer on level 1 normal, God gets an item from the chest, it will be of a very different caliber than stuff you can find here on Full Hill. And that's how it should be, of course. So I'm just gonna fall back a bit. And by the way, I'm sort of always trying to have an exit ramp behind me, meaning I have a full clear, so I know that if I'm kind of pressured, you know, I've used too much mana, I need to refill my build, and pretty much under pressure, then I can always fall back and sit safe. And cauldrons here, never touch cauldron if you feel like playing Diablo 1 at some point, or Diablo as it's called. Cauldron will give you a random, it's like a random shrine, meaning it can be any kind of shrine that are sort of in the game. And as some of these shrines are actually devastating, the worst being a shrine that gives you +2 firebolt spell. Not fireball, but firebolt. But it'll take 10% of your total mana. So if I had taken, say, that shrine and I got that particular ability, or you could say, yeah, well, the stats that you'll get from taking that given shrine, even though it's a random, but that it happens to be that I don't recall what it's called. Then I would have lost 98 of my total mana, which wouldn't have been completely doing a character. So nothing can be worse taking a shrine with an ability to, or possibility to lose 10% of your total mana. And it's not just for this level, I mean it's permanent. There are other sort of mechanics like that people are not aware of. I'm just scouting the map to see if I cleared it all, and it looks like it. What I'm looking for, by the way, are lines that are sort of broken, so I can see I haven't seen them all. This could look like it, but it's not. It's actually a door in here from this area to go in there. But there are, for instance, I remember there are some yellow goats. I think they're called Black Death. They are from level, I think, 3 to 7 or something like that. We are currently at level 14. And each time they hit your character, you will take some kind of damage. They are very slow and hit very slow. And I think they have not the highest chance to hit you as well. But when they hit you, you'll take some kind of damage. But the problem is, especially for a warrior, is that each time your character is hit, you lose 1 hit point permanently. So Doom Guards, rare they are. I don't mind though. Oh, more melee mobs. So we got these drakes here. I'm pretty highest tier of those kind of mobs. And trust me, you don't want to get caught by those. They are pretty much like the lava mobs. They'll hit incredibly fast and hit you all the time. So I can handle 1 or 2 more. The drakes are highest of their sort of tier, and they can drop really good loot. And as you can see already now, I'm sort of using all of my spells all of a sudden. So it's like the difficulty went up a little bit here on level 15. Later, so make some distance. This may look easy enough, but when the first time you sort of get caught by these guys, yeah, you know why I have a very much respect for these tricks. Trying to do a little fireball spam here, but if they get too close, I use my Stonecurse spell. The reason why I'm trying not to use the Stonecurse too much, goes directly to using it afterwards, is due to the fact that fireball is 10 mana, I think. Yeah, and Stonecurse is 40 mana, so I can cast 4 fireballs per Stonecurse cast. Sort of trying to be mana efficient. So I'm gonna Stonecurse these 2 guys. Stonecurse them all. Already see how much trouble I have with just one of them hitting me as it's disrupting my cast. The drink I just took before that I found, it looked like a mana pot, but it was as elixir of strength, which will give your character 1 permanent strength. Unless you're capped, of course. This is a fairly easy level 15, at least for Sorcerer here. Some of the mobs I'm not that chilled about are soul burners, which are sort of the top tier witches. They are immune to all my spells, except Stone Curse, which means that I have to sort of beat him with my sword, and it takes quite a while. But having these Asia guys close, definitely use Stone Curse first, ask questions later. They have an ability to sort of charge as well. It's fairly rare that they use it, but it's just a heads up that they can sometimes close the distance very quickly. I don't think the axe is very good because it came from Doomguard, and the Doomguards are sort of considered fairly low tier. As I have pretty much room in my bag here, I think I'm gonna go clear up here by Lazarus first. He's always located in the... This level 15 is always like 4 quadrants, just like level 16. And like I said, as I have room in my bags, he's always in there. You can see him with these 2 little bodyguards. There's Lazarus is always standing there. Then he got other mobs as well in there, and then he's got his 2 bodyguards. But these 3 mobs will always drop some kind of magic item, be that blue or unique or whatever it is. But they have a chance to drop higher level loot than average, I'd say. Most often they do not, but they have the ability. The witch that's sort of following me now, that is always on the map as well. Kind of the 4th, what's she called? Bloodlust, nothing special about her. Except that she actually dropped the first nice light plate, the one that I showed in the beginning with 42 armor. She dropped that on normal difficulty, and this time she dropped the full plate. Always interesting to see what stats are on a full plate, especially if it has 74 armor, because when it has 74 armor, it's almost capped out as base armor, which is 75. So let's see, this was say an awesome full plate. It would be one of the best items you can find for warrior, if in case you want to sort of add as much armor class as possible. You could put it on a sorcerer as well. He can actually wear it with him, as will have enough strength. I'm currently at 78 strength, and I'm not trying to go up in strength at all. It's pure sort of mana boosting here. But it's just to show you that, and it's a bit flawed to say in the game that, in my opinion, the sorcerer shouldn't be able to wear a full plate. That should be for warriors only, but yeah. Who am I to judge here? It's the first game of its kind, and it's like 30 years old. I still enjoy playing it a lot, even though sometimes it will take a break of 10 years or more, but here I am again. So, 3rd quadrant almost cleared. I'm just gonna go down here to see if I get aggro from down. I have enough mana to sort of fend off some of these guys besides clearing the room. Where Lazarus is. And of course, now that I got here, I haven't. Oh, the shield is indestructible. That means that's at least one of its stats. It might be the only stat, but it can never be a perfect shield if it's indestructible. So I'm not even gonna bother looking at it, because in order for the shield to be perfect, it will have to not be indestructible. If it's a blue shield anyway, or magic shield, which is blue. What I do normally as sorcerer is I teleport back, and then all the witches can usually find their way around.
You are too late to save the child.
White witch doesn't like fire, and the red witch doesn't like she just they don't like lightning. Anyway, she dropped a ring. That's quite interesting. I'm just gonna put it here because it has a chance, as she's considered very high level, to have very good stats. The other rings and amulets, not so much. Dagger, yeah, it dropped from one of the red witches, and this the red witch here, she dropped a unique. It's always interesting to see what a unique is, but I'm just going to clear the room fully here. So what I do is I changed my Dream Flinch to a King's Sword of Speed, because the mobs that are in here with Lazarus, they are immune to fire and lightning, whereas Lazarus is not. It does hurt quite a bit with my mana pool. So what I always do is I do Lazarus
Your madness
first.
ends here, betrayer.
I beat up the rest of the guys sort of manually. The advocates here are the same that are always on level 16, along with Doom Guards, and yeah, I don't know which item. I'm probably gonna drop the cape, guys. I'm sorry about that, but I know that it's not. It would be nice for a level, say, 8 or 10 character, but that's are kind of the stats that are involved in it. I'm more interested in some of the other items here. A sword like this, that Lazarus dropped, for instance, a long sword, even if it was, say, a King's Sword of Haste, which are the best stats, and it would have like very high to hit percentage and damage as well, then it could never be a perfect item, because the basic damage is only 2 to 10, whereas the what's it called, a broadsword, it's the base damage is 4 to 12. The perfect item of this kind, these stats, a King's Sword of Haste, would be a Bastard Sword. It has a base damage of 6 to 15. Same with the armor here. You can get a full plate with armor 60, I think, but it's not quite as valuable as, say, a full plate with a basic armor of 75. Because if you get some kind of increased armor, it will be of the basic stat of that given item. I hope that made sense. It was a bit of nerd numbers. Otherwise, if you actually are interested in this and watches the video, feel free to ask questions in the comment section. I'll be glad to answer them. So again, sort of trying to avoid getting too close to the corners when I can't see what's around. I would say it's pretty rare that I can go this far on a single sort of mana run, you could say, without refilling my mana pots. But it has to do with I've been very lucky with the mobs that has been on the maps. For Sorcerer here, this is almost the weakest setup I can meet here on level 15. strong spell. Oh yeah, and by the way, there's no need to run around with the sword right now. Might as well take this extra... Yeah, I think the mana pool difference is... With sword it's 871, with mace it's 981, so it's above 100 additional mana, sort of, I have with the Dream Flinch instead of a King Sword of Speed. Hello. So, I think that was it, guys. I'm just gonna control again. No broken lines, meaning I've taken it off. And I'm just gonna go down to Diablo. I can show you again here if you haven't seen it before, but this gate is always here, but it only opens, you could say it's only available to go down after you kill Lazarus. So, just gonna go down, Mana Shield. Trust me, you'll figure out really quickly if you forgot to cast Mana Shield. Normally, not 100%, but close to like 99% of the times, if you go down, stand by a stair, you will not be attacked on any given map in the game. I just needed a sip of coffee. But as soon as you just move an inch, there is a chance that your light radius, it's a bit hard to see, but there's actually a light radius in this zone here around me. Or with, how do you call it, small quadrants. If I move, you'll be able to see that this sort of light radius, it will move with me. I hope it's possible to see. I know the graphic is hardly sort of yeah, say it's hardly worthy for a game or in the year 2026, but for me it's all about the gameplay, really. Oh, Bastard Sword. Bastard Sword is always interesting because it's... The Doomguard here is a top tier mob, and if you get a Bastard Sword, which is the top tier one-handed sword, if you get the right stat, you could get pretty much close to a perfect item. I'm not gonna hold my breath. I have found very few kings, like the sword I have here, which I should actually equip. And the reason why I'm equipping my King's Sword of Speed is that the other mobs that are always on this map are advocates, and advocates are immune to all spell damage except Stone Curse. So you could say they are immune to all damage dealing spells. There's a rare mob on the map. He's standing right down there, and the reason why I know that is there's only one. He's always there though. Is sort of the Blood Knight captain, you could say. He's called Gore Feast or something like that. He has a light radius as well, so does all rare mobs, including Diablo, I think. So I can see he was standing down there. Gorash, sorry. Didn't mean to pronounce it, bro. So he actually dropped a unique Bastard Sword, and normally you would cheer a lot to it. The only thing that this item is missing is haste, but that makes it unfortunately a secondary item. Not a secondary, but a lower tier item, you could say. Need haste, but it's as simple as that. It's okay, you can deal good damage, but you're not allowed to make a swing because the mobs are hitting you so hard, you could say. And so often that you, even as a warrior, is just taking a beating without being able to return any damage, then your weapon is no good. You need to be able to get a lot of swings out and make them hit as well. And that's why King's Sword of Haste is just the best in game. Or any sort of hasted weapon. Your non-hasted weapons will work fine initially. I don't think I have enough mana for this. Yeah. Famous last words. Just gonna make the most of it. So, time to get back to town. Do have 1 mana, or it says full rejuvenation. I don't know, since I started playing it, I always, as any kind of character, had a full rejuvenation. What it does, it fills up both your life and your hit points. So it's sort of my panic potion if I should sort of forget to use my mana shield or just need both. Often I don't use it. Let's see, I don't remember who dropped this club. I don't think it was from special mobs. I'm just going to leave it here for now. Up to town we go. Let's see if we got something interesting. And replenish. Yeah, mana and do some repairs.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Full plate wasn't bad, but had it been, say, an awesome plate of the lion, it would have been a very, very, very good item. But unfortunately, it was with fire resistance instead of, awesome, which is good armor booster. Card shield was crap. It was extremely crappy. High durability is something you can find on level, say, 1 or something like that. Ring, crap, Morningstar, 20 to magic, yeah, sure. So far, pretty mediocre stuff. The sword here, yeah, it's not bad. Would be a good, massive sword of speed would be a good, say, very good actually, sword for, say, a level, I don't know, 20 warrior or something like that. Bastard sword, yeah, was the unique. So it's not great items. It's okay but for this level, but none of the items are really good. This could have been a really, really good plate if it had armor class instead of, like I said, instead of fire resist, but the rest is sort of mediocre. The Doombringer here, sure, the damage is exceptional. It's the highest damage you can get on any given any given one-hander, 250%. King is a maximum of 175%, which I actually have on my one-hander here, which I bought this sword, by the way, from the blacksmith. But the problem is -5 to all attributes and hit points -25 and -20% light radius is not optimal as well. But I could take all these sort of negative things on if the weapon had some kind of haste, which it does not. So unfortunately, it's all sales.
Whoa!
Just have
what
to
can I do
remember not
for
to
you?
sell my. And as you can see, by the way, it doesn't really sell for much. Doombringer, it only sells for 4,500. Not that sometimes some of the best items in the game will sell for pretty crappy amounts. Dream Flinch, yeah, not a good idea to sell that. That's my own sort of. So always take it easy when you're buying and selling here, and especially selling, that you're not selling the wrong item. After this, I'm gonna repair. There we go, and then I got 72,000 gold, which I sort of stashed up here in my bag, so I'm just gonna spend them just
what
for
can
the
I
fun
do
of
for
it.
you?
Sometimes he can actually have a new item that could be interesting, and then I'm gonna resell them. They sell for exactly 1/4 of what you buy them for, so it's a good way to sort of dump excessive gold. Yeah, that's about it. It's gonna resell. And is there a final thing I can buy? Yeah, sure, I'll take the eggs. So I need, I don't know, 3,000-4,000 gold after I've repaired in order to sort of replenish my mana, and I got 3,500. It's almost perfect. So up to the witch, replenish my mana.
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Yeah, I got more than plenty here. There was a club I left down where I came from on level 16. I'm just probably gonna pick it up I don't recall who dropped it, but it could have been a special mob or something like that. So it's always interesting to see what the stats are, even though a club is not a good item because the basic damage is fairly low. So where is it? Good question. Oh, there it is. Spike Club, yeah. Just gonna drop a couple of mana pots there, pick up the Spike Club, and we are on to clear the second quadrant here. So, I normally take the melees first, as they are sort of the biggest threat to me, because they interrupt my spellcast and hurt quite a bit. But the advocates can be pretty annoying for Sorcerer as well if they are in huge packs, so it's always good to sort of single them out like this. What you don't want is having a melee chopping at you at the same time as you're taking a lot of damage from the range. And there was a guy not too long ago that asked me if, in the comments in one of the previous videos, that why I don't use Golem. Golem is a spell where you can sort of summon a kind of golem that will walk around and sort of bash any mobs it can get to. But the problem is it's a very expensive spell to cast. I think it's like 60 mana, and the golem is really squishy, at least at this level here at Hell. So it will often die really fast, but the biggest problem with it is that it's really sort of retarded. So sometimes you will not hit a mob right next to it, you just walk on aimlessly. So cursing the making and then I'm sort of this quadrant is sort of the hardest to clear because it's very open compared to the other quadrants on level 16 here. So I'll normally try to sort of hug the outer wall here, and then eventually I'll take the center of the map. This way I'm sure I'm not getting attacked from a lot of angles, which can be quite troublesome. Besides that, I'm trying to do the melee mobs first if possible, and then after I do the casters. And any caster I can sort of clear out without just 10 others shooting me in the back is a golden opportunity. Even though I'm getting close to 1,000 mana, at least with my Dream Flinch, then and naturally my resists are all maxed out, and I'd suggest you get them maxed out if you want to play on this difficulty level. Otherwise it's gonna get really hard. You can see my mana pool here, I'm taking quite a beating with two mobs shooting at me. And had I had no fire resist, I would have taken an additional 75% damage per fireball beaten. So max resists are, yeah, a must. So I'm gonna open this lever, and it will open always the same door up here in the second quadrant. There's a mob or two left, just to make sure that there are not. Like I said, I prefer to... Oh, there was one. There we are. I prefer to make sure that I'm at least almost 100% sure that there are no mobs behind me, so that I can always sort of retreat without making the situation worse if I have to retreat. And I'm gonna make a peekaboo here in this sort of... call it a double structure. It's kind of open. They're sort of combined with structures below here. At least in the beginning, I mean. So it's kind of perfect getting all the melees out. And the reason why I'm not taking a second quadrant is I don't want to open the lever that's inside, not yet anyway. Because I'll just get more mobs sort of out in the open here. I don't need that right now. It's way more easy. Just clear the exterior of the quadrants first, and then yeah, do the interior after, of course. Hello. So I got a stray mob here, perfect. So already now I'm sort of thinking of which mob to do best, and I will always take the mob behind me, this mob instead of this mob. Because if I took the other mob first, there would be a good chance that I would get additional aggro from my light rangers from advancing further into an area that I haven't explored. There's no reason to make the game more difficult. That it is. I'm not trying to say that it's the most difficult game in the world, but people that haven't tried it before will just struggle at this level. Gotta pick up the axe just to see what the stats are. So it's interesting because all the mobs here, the advocates and the Duneyards are both top tier mobs, meaning they can drop top tier stats. Here we have sort of a hidden wall. It's just a glitch in the game. Ouch. So the reason why I can see that is I should be able to just walk in a straight line, but when I try that, he will just walk around here like in a U, as you can see. And these glitches are, I don't know, they are, it's not only this level, they are in the game, sort of here and there. When you have to tank a large pack like this, keep an eye on your mana all the time. And I try to replenish, and I'm at least half. And then I already know where I'm gonna escape when I wanna replenish my belt, which just shows you again that it's always a good idea to be fully clear behind. And I'm ready for another dust off here with the packs and paddlets. But this is especially tough for a warrior that hasn't got any mana to stone curse. I mean, you have to get close and you're taking like, feels like charging artillery battery or something like that with the damage you're taking. So I think I actually managed to stone curse this guys, but it was in the exact same second when he was sort of dematerializing, or what do you call it? Dematerializing from doing this. It's a spell that reminds you of teleport, where it's called phasing instead. I don't want to use it here because I could land on the other side of the wall there. I don't want to use it, but I actually have it myself. There you go. If I stand up here, I shouldn't. It haven't got the long range as teleport does. So as you can see, it's pretty random. But if I got teleported in there, I'd be in big trouble. So I'm not gonna fool around with it any more than this. So another pack here. 3 more. But as you can see, my mana lasted initially 13, 14, 15. As I was lucky with the mobs, especially level 15. But now I came down here with full mana. And it's almost used because, yeah, difficulty level has just increased. I'm taking a ton of damage down here and I have to use Stone Curse a lot, which is rather mana heavy to cast. Further, I have to walk around with my King Sword Streak. So my mana pool is 100 lower. Ouch. So, one guy left. That's it. So I cleared the last two, the exterior of the last 2 quadrants, and now I'm gonna go up and do the interior of the second quadrant. The reason why I call it the second is because the lever that's inside here will open. Yeah, sort of the third quadrant. So the first quadrant is kind of open. Because it's probably the hardest one to clear, I think. Because you're like constantly getting aggro from somewhere due to, that the mobs are able to see you. There are no walls to hide behind. And it was next to where I am, over here, where it's rather open. Then the lever there will make it open a door here, so it's accessible down here. This lever will open doors down here, and then finally there are 2 levers in here that will open the final gates into Diablo. And it's always the same sort of order. The same lever will open the same door. No big mystery. Yeah, well, maybe the first time you were down here back in the day. So with so many mobs packed, I'm just gonna shoot a bit here. Do the melee guys first. And normally I'm not gonna start beating on the guy that has been stone cursed this long, because I'm not able to kill him fast enough that he'll get out of the stone curse. So just gonna do the last guy here. This lever open those 4 doors down here. I'm just gonna teleport down there. I can do this freely because I know I've cleared it all. Could be a single straggler, it should be fine. So this could have been a straggler, or maybe he caught my light radius. What I normally do is teleport inside. A little bit risky, but I got a good idea of where the mobs are, so I'm teleporting in around here and then out again immediately, pretty much, or after 1 or 2 seconds. And then I can sort of lure all the melee guys out in this zone. And then I'm gonna do the same down here. So around there, massive pack. Get me the melee guys out. It's almost impossible to clear this. You have to fight both the melees and the range guys. seems really packed. I'm pretty sure that it's sort of, you know, it's the same amount of mobs here every time, but sometimes some of the mobs will always be standing at the same spot. But sometimes it's a bit random that you can have, say, most of the items on this quadrant, or you can have it at the one of the other quadrants. And this time it feels sort of excessively packed with both melee and ranged. Alright, I think I cleared out the melees, so let's have some ranged fun. Open one of the levers. Doesn't do anything in itself. I have to open another one, which is down south here. I probably won't. I definitely don't have enough mana to make a full clear here, so I'm just gonna pick up a little more gold. There was a massive pack here. Yep. May barely have enough mana to clear this pack. And I think this is the final guy. So I opened the second lever, and as you were might able to notice, I opened the final 4 doors over here. I definitely do not have enough mana for this, so I'm just gonna go get some more.
Hello, my friend. Stay a while and listen.
Yeah, sure. It steals 5% mana. It's fairly rare stat. It's not that good really, but it's just to show that it's typically an item that will drop.
What can I do for you?
On some of the final levels here. Gonna repair. I mean, it's not typically an item you'll find on say normal difficulty. You may find it as maybe say just gonna spend my gold here to get rid of it really. You may find sort of a weaker version of Mana Steel on, say, one hit will get you 1% of your mana return, something like that. So vampires will be top notch of returning mana, which will mainly be found here in Hell, maybe if you're lucky on Nightmare difficulty. But it's just to show you how the game mechanic sort of works, with how it...
I sense a soul in search of answers.
Sort of creates items that have stats. And it only makes sense. It's our, I guess, all sort of these types of games are that you, of course, well, any game really, that the higher difficulty level, the higher sort of tier or types of stats or even basic items can drop. Anyway, yeah, I'm gonna lure out the big boy. What I normally do again here is get the melees out first. It's always single Black Knight, first guy killed there. I don't know if it's a flaw in the game or what it is. What I normally do then is I don't kill Diablo because, yeah, you'll have to watch one of my other videos. That's a sort of, you have to watch a video for like 2 minutes and I'm not in the mood for it. Further, he doesn't drop any loot, and this is one of the first of its kind, so there's kind of a lot of the game, I mean, so there's a lot of flaws. But what I do is I lure him out, there he is. Bring him somewhere I can trap him. He's not the most clever boy. So, he hurts a lot, but he's not too bright. There we go. So what I usually do is bring him somewhere I can trap him, and then I can sort of do his minions afterwards. I don't even think he gives you any experience as well. So he won't be able to find a path down here, so I'm pretty much rid of him now. Always nice. Rings are always interesting because they could be perfect, whereas say a light plate isn't that interesting because it's not a perfect item. It may have the perfect stats, but it can never be a perfect item because it has to have the sort of the perfect basic stat in order to get the perfect item. And you could say a ring is always a perfect basic stat because there's only one type of rings. And that's, I guess, that's why rings and amulets are more interesting than, say, a light plate or a two-handed axe or whatever, because no matter the stats, it can never be a perfect item. Naturally, that's a little bit frustrating if you're trying to... Well, if you like to get... if your primary kick from playing a game is getting good loot all the time, then Diablo 1 is not for you. It's more like, you know, if you get one new item after 10 hours of gameplay, it's a big win. And it's okay by me, I can live with it. To me, I guess the main reason to play it is just sort of stressless and, I don't know, just enjoy the game. And when I actually manage to find an item, for instance, my new chest piece here, which is actually the same as my old, but it had more basic armor. You know what? It's big for me because I got this 6 extra basic armor from playing, I think, maybe like 11 hours. This was kind of a strafer. He came a long way. And about the advocates here, when they're standing inside in packs, yeah, they're very annoying for classes. Maybe not that much for Sorcerer. As I'm actually, in the end game here, definitely a strong character. But what you do is, eventually the problem will solve itself. If they're standing in a pack, because they have this tendency to randomly teleport, or phasing as it's called, around, so they will sort of disperse themselves eventually. You could go, if your character is kind of weak, that probably means that you should maybe do some of the lower levels some more first. Then, but if you wanted to do a harder area, then just keep circling around these groups of advocates, and eventually they will sort of disperse. Just making sure that I got them all. And there might be a couple of knights that followed me along with Diablo. Still up here. Let's say goodbye. There he is. So you could cheat him only with a wall like this. If I had a scroll of infravision, we would see we were probably running back and forth here. So yeah, he's pretty retarded. That's about it. So I could ask Kane what the ring is all about, but you know what? We found a scroll of identify, and it was a very mediocre ring of sorcery. Not that good, really. But it only goes to show that a mob down by Diablo top tier can drop a ring of sorcery, and I actually found a ring of, what is it, wizardry. I found that from a lower tier mob, which has 32 magic. So the ring of sorcery is the lower tier of the highest tier, which is ring of wizardry. I think ring of sorcery is probably like from, I don't know, from 10 to 20 probably, and then or maybe 15 to 20, I'm not sure. But wizardry is from, I think, 20, yeah, probably 25 to 30. Let's sell the ring and repair.
Whoa! What can I do for you?
And I'm gonna drop the excessive gold. What I'm gonna do, I think next, my plan is to show you my magic mule. When I have transferred, I have my son had the game as well, and I can borrow his computer and sort of transfer some of these items to my magic mule, and then you'll probably get a clear idea of what I want to use the magic mule for. Mainly, the magic mule will have all my items that have somehow something to do with magic, which means this, even though it's not for boosting a character in order to be able to read higher level books, as I talked about in the beginning of the video, but this is, on the other hand, this could be used for, say, a new character where I have an idea about playing, trying eventually to play a rogue like a caster, but it's a project for the future. Can't say exactly when. But this item, which is maximum 20 magic on the chest, 30 magic is maximum for one-hander, 20 for headpiece, and this one, Ring of Wizardry, is maximum for a ring. I think I got another ring as well on my magic mule already. And then these two rings are for my normal mule, which can be used for sort of all classes, but not especially for a caster type. But that's enough for the next video. All I want to say is that I'm at 689 million experience now. Back when I started, I was at 682.6. So I got like 6.4 million. It makes sense. I'm getting the formula for getting experience at some point in the game. It changes into your character level times 200 experience. So currently I'm getting 9,200 experience per kill. Sometimes on level 13 there will be mobs that are a little lower. They could actually have been in the caves, which are the zone before hell. And they can give maybe slightly less experience than 9,200, but most of the mobs will give 9,200. Doing a full clear will net me around 6 million, and it's up in maybe even 6.4 million at the moment. So next time I get a level, meaning level 47, I'll get 47 times 200 experience, meaning I will get more and more experience as I rise in level. But on the other hand, the cap for next level will rise exponentially as well. So it's not like you're getting level faster, you're just getting more experience that, say, what a level 41 would do trying to clear the same area. That's it, guys. I hope you enjoyed the video. Somehow I've enjoyed making it more than usually, which is a lot. So all I want to say is thanks for watching, guys, and hopefully I'll see you in the next one. Take care. Bye-bye.